The Coalition's one-seat hold on government became a little more tenuous this week, with one of its MPs facing serious allegations. The Liberal member for Frankston, Geoff Shaw, is accused of rorting his taxpayer-funded car and petrol cards for the benefit of his hardware business, allegations he denies. The issue dominated Parliament this week, and some have compared it to the situation the Gillard government's facing over Craig Thomson. A parliamentary investigation is underway, but there are growing calls for police to step in.
It's an extraordinarily bad look.
We're very, very concerned about Mr Shaw.
Well, I have described him as the loaded dog of Liberal politics, and I thought that for a long time he was threatening to go off, and it seems like he has.
From the shimmering Frankston foreshore, Spring Street seems far away. But it's the seat of Frankston that's dogging the Baillieu government and could decide its future.
Does the Premier have full confidence in the member for Frankston?
I have full confidence in all members of our team, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I have...
Last Sunday, News Limited published allegations by 3 people it says are connected to this hardware business, owned by Liberal MP Geoff Shaw. They allege the MP instructed them to use his taxpayer-funded car and fuel cards for the business, making deliveries and visiting customers around Victoria and interstate. It's the most serious allegation levelled yet against the first-term MP since he won the marginal seat from Labor 18 months ago. Mr Shaw has been accused of scuffling with a stranger, offensive behaviour to constituents, and a bizarre public plea about his relationship.
Obviously, I read the local paper and also I read the national papers, and unfortunately he's appearing more and more often in those papers, which is not good for Frankston.
Labor-affiliated Frankston councillor COLIN HAMPTON is deeply concerned by these latest allegations and that Mr Shaw is refusing to speak publicly about them.
The problems that he's having is detracting from what are very serious problems in Frankston which we need addressing. And I can see what is going to happen. There's going to be a bunker mentality from Mr Shaw if this pressure keeps up, and the problems that we have here, which are substantial, won't be addressed. Since Mr Shaw came to office, the unemployment rate here in Frankston was 5.9. In that period of time, that has jumped to 7.8%. Now that's a huge jump.
He's not talking publicly, but Geoff Shaw has issued a statement refuting the allegations. But he's also promised to pay back any money that may have been misused without his knowledge. Lower House Speaker and fellow Liberal MP Ken Smith is now investigating on Ted Baillieu's orders.
Are you keen to refer it on to police?
We'll be looking at all sorts of options.
But the same man investigating Geoff Shaw's behaviour repeatedly shut down debate on the topic in question time, enraging the opposition.
I've ruled that I do not believe that it is in regard to government administration. Because it isn't. It's simple as that.
He's been left looking like a Liberal Party stooge, which is a terrible situation for the Speaker and for the Parliament.
Academic Ken Cogle was once Labor's Speaker in the lower house. He says Premier Ted Baillieu has compromised the Speaker's independence by ordering Ken Smith to investigate, something he says the Speaker should and would have done himself.
It's very clearly a serious matter, and if that's happened in New South Wales, then it's the sort of thing that ICAC, their anti-corruption body, would have been authorised to look at, and with good grounds. But under the proposed Victorian anti-corruption model, it's very unlikely that they would see it within their powers to investigate this matter.
If there was an IBAC.
If there was an IBAC in Victoria, exactly.
With no sign of its anti-corruption commission in sight, this is a very awkward situation for a government that promised higher standards of integrity and transparency.
Why did the Premier refer the conduct of the member for Frankston to the Speaker and not to Victoria Police?
Good question. That's the appropriate place to locate any such claims, Mr Speaker.
Not according to veteran homicide detective turned Herald Sun crime columnist Charlie BEZZINA, who says this is clearly a matter for police.
On the surface of it, I'd be looking at obtain financial advantage by deception, and there's different prospects to that. He's allegedly obtained a financial advantage by having his fuel bills paid by the community, so forth and so on. So that might be a potential charge.
Mr BEZZINA acknowledges that Geoff Shaw is entitled to the presumption of innocence, and establishing any alleged dishonesty could be difficult. But he doesn't believe the Speaker is equipped to carry out such an investigation.
Politician or not, as any law is equal to all of us, give it to the police to investigate. It's an allegation, clearly of wrongdoing, of some alleged criminality, and let's sort this out. And it's a situation that can be sorted out within a week, quite easily.
The problem is the Baillieu government needs Geoff Shaw, just like the Gillard government needs troubled MP Craig Thompson.
He's a key marginal seat member, and the loss of just one seat is enough to turf the government out of office.
ABC election analyst Anthony Green says Frankston is the 5th most marginal seat in Victoria, held by just 2.1%.
The government probably has to tough this out, get suitable apologies and perhaps suitable recompense from Mr Shaw, but they'd be very loath to force the by-election. It would be very difficult. It'd be a tough by-election to hold. And of course, if they lost the seat, it would almost certainly lead to an early election.
Claims have been raised. They've been raised anonymously. They're being examined in the appropriate forum, and that's what should happen.
The results can't come soon enough for some.
Obviously, people are concerned. I can only say again, I hope that the problems are addressed for Frankston's sake, because it's not good for Frankston.
And we did ask the Premier Ted Baillieu for an interview, but he declined for the 7th week in a row.